Hello and welcome to Let's 7 Narrates a Pokemon Battle! Oh yes, it has been quite some time, isn't it? Well, I did that Zemnis impression, however, I still don't think it was really my narration, so yeah. So this time we are gonna face off with Mizticall, a great YouTuber. We have actually battled 3 times. Once on the PU tier, what I pretty much won with my Togetic, and one on the NU, what DC'd, and now one on the UU. So, let's see, he was team testing, so I might understand that his team might not be all that great, but it does have Water, Fire, Grass Core. But either way, let's start off with the match, and I'm challenged by Mike. So, here I'm gonna lead off with my very extremely obvious lead, the Ambipom, and he's gonna lead off with the Mienshao. What I expect to be Scarf, because he lead off with it, expecting me to lead off with my Ambipom, but as I have Fake Out, I can fake that thing out with the absolute ease and do some massive chunk to the Mienshao, as it has very frail bones, and now I can retreat and go into my Hellfire to take either the high jump kick or the U-turn, because I am immune to the high jump, and I quad resist the U-turn. And Chandelure does bring a fair bit of offensive potential to the team, but the opponent goes into the Suicune, what I expected him to go for, and therefore I can easily bring in my Shaymin to check this Suicune, but I would like to see how much assault from a Suicune would do, so I would know what kind of Suicune I am really dealing with. So it goes with the Scald, and let's see how much it does. It is going to do 90 damage with a critical hit, so I am pretty sure this is a defensive Suicune, no doubt about it, and I can easily go with a lead Seed Flare, but I'm gonna predict something. I'm gonna predict that Roserade coming, and I'm gonna go with that Psychic to hit that Roserade really hard. And looking at the damage, I'm thinking that this is going to be a special defensive Roserade with yeah, a special defensive Roserade would seem right. So, I am gonna retreat my Ingrained and go into my Tony Flygon to threaten this thing out, because Roserade is quite frail from the physical side. No doubt about that, but he's gonna trick something and bring in Ultimo, the Zapdos, probably to take the Flygon perhaps, but it goes with the Roost as it outspeeds me, and Tony goes with the U-turn, and this is very valuable information for me, because it tells me that this is a timid Zapdos what I'm dealing with here. Therefore, I am quite sure that this Zapdos is very offensive with Roost and Life Orb. But as I see the leftovers, perhaps he's trying to bluff that it is defensive in some way, shape or form. So yeah, so here I go with a Fake Out, take that Zapdos, and looking at the damage, I am very certain that my double hit would be able to take it out from that range, and I think that he would know that as well. So I'm thinking that he might want to switch out, but he doesn't have any ghost types in the team, so I don't think there is no point risking it at all. So I go with the double hit, and looking at the damage on the Suicune, it tells me it is very, very physically bulky. So I'm thinking that their team consists of specially bulky Roserade and physically bulky Suicune as the walls, what are somewhat offensive, I guess. And I go with the U-turn, get some Life Orb recoil on myself, and possibly a switch initiative if he would be doing some double switches. And I bring in my Ingrained onto the predicted Scald, but the Suicune surprises me in a way, goes with the Roar and rolls me out into Tony Flygon. What was one of the better things he could have rolled me into, because, well, Suicune, perhaps Chandelure would have been right as well. My team can pretty much handle this Suicune, except Ambipom, but I might only go with the U-turn, gets a bit of damage on that, and I go back into Ingrained to take the Scald, because it can take those things all day, every day with my own leftovers, and if I get burned, I have Natural Core to fix that tiny little issue that would cause. So either way, the Suicune gets some leftover recovery, and I'm expecting it to predict me to go with the Psychic or either with the Seed Flare. And so I'm gonna go. I'm decided to go with the Seed Flare because I have already shown Psychic, so that Roserade wouldn't feel comfortable to come in. And I go with the Seed Flare and take that Zapdos out with ease with critical hit. What most definitely mattered, but I think I could have handled the Zapdos with my team either way. Ambipom could have taken it out as it outspeeds it, and yeah. So Mienshao comes in, and I don't want to take a U-turn from that thing, so I decide to switch into my Reichswher, Range Defense. And as Registeel is very bulky, it can take the U-turn with absolute ease. No question whatsoever about that. Let's see what the opponent would bring in. What I expected was either Arcanine or the Claydol, and in comes the Claydol. I could think that we could trade rocks, but then again, he does have a rapid spin on that thing. I don't, so I can't really stay in. So I decided to take the optimal play, go into tone it, threaten this thing out with U-turn, and if it switches out, I get a switch initiative. And if it stays in, I get a massive chunk of damage on it. And in comes the Mienshao, possibly as a death quarter, but let's see the U-turn damage after I do the move. After Tony Flygon does the move, it barely leaves the U-turn. And I decide to bring in my Ambipom to pretty much take this Mienshao on with Fake Out and threatening out, or if it would want to stay in, it would die. So the opponent makes a better play and goes for the Arcanine, takes the U-turn, but because it is no Axle, it doesn't have Intimidate, but instead Flash Fire. So I fake it out, and the damage looks very solid on it, so I'm thinking a double hit would take it out, and I expecting the opponent to over-predict, and indeed it does, and he makes a double hit into the Mienshao, and I take it out with double hit, and that is a one massive threat gone on from my opponent's side. So this is very good for me. I'm expecting this guy to not over-predict this turn, so I've decided to switch into my Blastoise to possibly take the Flare Blitz or the Extreme Speed, whatever it would go for. I didn't feel comfortable bringing Registeel in to take the Flare Blitz because it doesn't kindly take that. So Blastoise takes the Extreme Speed quite nicely, and I'm thinking that this thing could live a Wild Charge from the Arcanine. Even though it's super effective, looking at the Extreme Speed damage, I'm quite sure Blastoise would live it. So I'm hoping that Maverick would take the hit, and let's see, Maverick takes the hit with 11 HP and goes with the Rapid Spin to get rid of the rock! And now that will ease my switches into my Chandelure, and that is exactly what I'm gonna do on the next turn to take the possible Extreme Speed, Wild Charge, whatever it would go for, because I expect it to run close combat, Wild Charge, and stuff like that. So Chandelure comes in, and it's gonna take the Wild Charge with 82 HP, and I am in a very nice position because the opponent has lost the Flash Fire, Arcanine, and I can start firing off Fire Blast or Shadow Balls, and he decides to run because he is pretty sure that he wouldn't be able to beat me at that point at 6-3 lead for my favor. So yeah, the guy I was battling with was Mizticall, and I most definitely recommend you to check out his channel. And either way, thank you guys for watching, and have a fine day. See you guys next time. Leave a like, leave a comment, and yeah, like always, I always finish it off with the have a fine day.